Grizzlies fans, welcome back. We had a couple days off, but we are back in action today against the Detroit Pistons. Joining me to break this one down is Natalie Kerwin. And Natalie, I'm so excited because it's your first time here.
I know. I feel honored. I'm so excited to be here and I get to meet you for the first time and this is just the highlight of my day. So
Oh
can't
no,
wait.
not the game. Okay, let's talk about the game because that should be the highlight of everyone's day. This one tips off at 6 p.m. Central Time here in, well, it won't be in Memphis, but Central Time in Memphis. Pistons are 2-18, Grizzlies 5-14. The Grizzlies are looking for their third win in 4 games. The Pistons are on a 17-game losing streak. And when I say all that, Natalie, it seems like I'm saying the Grizzlies can go and just win this one easy, but I don't think that's the case. I think this is going to be a very gritty game from start to finish. Um, Joe Harris is out for you. Marvin Bagley is probable. Monte Morris, of course, is out. And Bogdanovich, he's like this injection into the lineup he got back on, I guess, Saturday. It was his first game this season. What has he brought to the Pistons? I guess only that one game, but pretty big game.
Right. Well, I guess I'll just before I even get to Boyan, just as a whole, you bring up the 17 game losing streak. And of course, that's what's been looming over this group. And it's what the NBA has been talking about when they think of the Detroit Pistons. What's tough is there's been so many games where they have come close and they just haven't been able to close out these
Yeah.
games. So this streak, it's been such a negative thing, but the biggest thing for these guys I've noticed is that their spirits haven't wavered. They're still fighting each and every game. No one's given up.
Mm-hmm.
No one has more faith in them than their head coach, Monty Williams. So, as you said, I think this game will be gritty. They've been coming into every game with that mindset of we can win this no matter who the opponent is, no matter what the records are. We're still going to go about this the same way. So, battling through the injuries all year, not being able to just have that full healthy roster, and Monty Williams having to kind of change up his lineups and figure out how guys play well with each other, that's been the biggest challenge. And so Boyan Bogdanovich, getting him back, I know it's only been the one game, but it just brings a different spirit. You could feel it on Saturday. He drops 22. He comes into the arena and he gets a standing ovation and a cheer from the crowd. I know, my heart, same thing. It just like the Pistons have been missing a veteran sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Like we have been missing a guy that can provide the right floor spacing for Cade Cunningham. And so Cade, he's taken on the whole load himself up until this point, and that's led for, him getting easy turnovers, feeling a lot of that pressure and not having that help. So it is a godsend that Boyan is back, and I'm excited to see tonight too just what he can contribute because he's just such a big part of this team.
I want to talk about Cade, who you brought up, who the leading scorer, leading assist getter. But first, I want to talk about two familiar faces to Memphis. One is Jalen Duren, who is a rebounding beast, averaging like around 11 rebounds per game. I want to talk about him. And I want to talk about Jaden Ivey, who, of course, his mother used to coach for the Grizzlies just a few years ago, another familiar face. Okay, let's start with Jalen Duren. I'm gonna say he goes up against Jaren Jackson Jr., Bismack Biyombo. What do you like about this matchup? Because that is like those are big boys. The three of them battling it out, and the key is gonna be a really big thing today, especially because I saw the Pistons are seventh in the league in rebounding, the Grizzlies 22nd. So how can Jalen take advantage of that tonight?
Yeah, well, Jalen Duren and I would say Isaiah Stewart too. He's also a beast that kind of makes up that front court. They call themselves the dog pound. So
Oh.
that's like their I know. So watch out for the dog pound. So I always joke with them about that, but they love it. They're like, no, that's what we go by. You don't call us by our names. We are together as one.
Dog
Um,
pound.
but Jalen Duren, of course, he's like, I mean, he's only 20 years old. He's still one of the youngest guys in the league. All of his game is inside at the rim. But he's just, I don't know, it's fun to kind of see him develop. He's really hard on himself when it comes to just working on things, but he is becoming one of the more dominant figures I think that people in the NBA are recognizing like, hey, we got to put our best guy in the key on him because he's going to get to the rim every single time. And him and Cade are so good back and forth. Cade always, you know, they're like lob partners. He's good at finding Jalen and then always just ends up getting a bucket.
Points in the paint. And I think this has a lot to do with Jalen, probably Isaiah as well. 11th in the league, the Pistons are. The Grizzlies 23rd. Even though there's been a few games recently where it's been three guards, kind of Cade, Ivy, and Hayes. How does this team score? How does Detroit score? And now I know this is the bottom, three teams in the league in points per game going up against each other, the Pistons and the Grizzlies. But to be 11th in points in the paint and have such like guard strong play, how do the Pistons play? What are they doing? We haven't seen them yet this year.
I know. So a lot of these guys on this team are fast. And I feel like these guys, they like to play fast. They like to get up and down in transition with the guys that you just mentioned. Like Monty debuted that kind of small ball 3-guard lineup of Cade, Ivy, and Killian. Mm-hmm. And we saw that, you know, obviously it didn't win the game, but it worked out for them in their favor. Yeah. I think having those 3 guys on the floor together, Monty has figured out that's what's going to get us closer to winning basketball games because, you know, you're taking that pressure off of Cade that he's felt all season, trying to be the guy. So I feel like the way that these guys like to play, they like to be fast. I mean, yeah, down low, you talk about 11th in points in the paint. You have guys like Jalen Duren, who's just an animal down there. Isaiah Stewart as well. Marvin Bagley when he's healthy. I mean, when it's a healthy front court, it's a good front court. So, you know, tonight I would look for these guys obviously to have a little oomph under their belt, coming so close on Saturday, but just as far as just their play style and the way they like to play, you know, just I would say fast, kind of in the key, layups. You know, they're trying to get their 3-point shooting back. I wouldn't say that they're deadly from the outside at this point, but having Boyan will help as well. So
yeah, I mean they're 29th right now in the league and just getting 3-pointers like attempted, which is really good news for the Grizzlies because they've been not great at defending the 3. So I think that's going to be a key for the Grizzlies is to not let tonight be the night where that changes for the Pistons. Before I let you go, I want to talk about Cade Cunningham, though, because he's been playing so well, averaging 22.5 points per game, 7.2 assists per game. He's kind of like the Desmond Bane from us for you guys. So Desmond, Cade, I'm assuming not covering each other. In my mind, it's going to be a lot of like a Vince Williams Jr., like David Roddy on Cade, just put like the dogs on Cade Cunningham. On the flip, who's like the dog that's going to be on Desmond Bane tonight?
Ooh, I know. I was trying to think about this. I know. I mean, my prediction for the starting lineup tonight will be Cade, Killian, Ivy, especially if they still have Boyan on a minutes restriction, and then Stu and Duren. So obviously it's going to be Jaden or Killian. As far as a dog, I might say Killian Hayes. Because we're starting to see him flourish these last couple of games, especially with his new role of kind of helping Cade and not coming off the bench. I would say, you know, one of Killian's strong suits is his defense. That's what he gets praised on. He's, you know, Jaden's fast, but Killian is too, and his defensive skill set's a little bit better than Jaden's. So I think he'll probably be put on Desmond, and I feel like that's going to be the matchup that we're going to see.
That'll be fun. Okay, to end it off, do this for me, fill in the blank. Out of all the things that we just talked about, I mean, the Pistons are also 9th in the league in assists. Like they do a lot of things well. If the Pistons do blank well, they give themselves the chance to win tonight.
If the Pistons don't turn over the ball, they'll do well tonight.
That's a great one.
Turnovers have been our Achilles heel all season long. Monty Williams will preach that all day, every day. I mean, the amount of points off turnovers have come back to bite the Pistons in the butt so many times. So many of these games have been so close, and then you go to the turnover column at the end of the night on the stat sheet, and you're like, oh, we only lost by 8, but we gave them 18 points off turnovers. We could have had this game. So if they can keep the turnovers down, which they've been getting better, it was a struggle on Saturday too, but if they can clean up the little things, the Pistons have a chance.
There we go. Natalie, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. And I hope you have a really great game today.